Ms. Knudsen? Here. Mr. Router?
Present.
Mr. Bierman?
Here.
And Mr. Exner is absent.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the October 9th meeting?
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? The first item is the enclosed claims for October, November, December.
Make a motion to move from committee to full board approval of receipt and place on file the approval of Will County Treasurer's report of receipts and expenditures month ending January 2014 with a cash balance of $3,200,456.11 in the October, November, December 2013 and January 2014 list of counties paid invoices by GL distribution report.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Brad. Roll call, please.
Sorry. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Router?
Aye.
Ms. Simpson? Yes. Mr. Damron?
Aye.
Ms. Pons Doyle?
Yes. Next item is Iowa license reimbursement request for one Iowa license reimbursement for the Rockdale Police Department in the amount of $1,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved as read. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Previous roll.
Second for previous roll.
Second.
All those in favor of previous roll?
Aye.
Next item is firehouse support. The annual maintenance and support contract for firehouse software for 2014 has been received for renewal. The annual cost of the contract is $15,350. Do I have a motion?
So moved as written. Second. Previous. Second.
All those in favor of previous roll?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item is the IP voice logger for Westcom. Steve, please.
So as part of the equipment upgrades for Westcom, we talked about replacing the analog logger to an IP voice logger. We received a quote from Word Systems in the amount of $57,880. This is recommended replacement equipment. That'll be used in the remaining PSAPs in the replacement schedule begins in 2016. So all the voice loggers are scheduled to be upgraded to IP loggers in 2016 and on. We're asking to move Westcom up now to accommodate the new building and the equipment that's needed for it. Also, server components part of that project. We can buy our servers for less expensive than Word can get them for us. The same model, the same type. So what Word Systems said, fine, go off and control the server if you'd like. And so we went out and priced that, and with your approval, the purchase for that would be $2,678. So the total purchase would be $60,559.98.
Motion is written. Second.
Any discussion?
Previous roll.
Second.
All those in favor of previous roll?
Aye.
The next item, D, is removed from the agenda.
Yes. We were looking at two vendors, AT&T and Comcast, and AT&T has come forward in the last 24 hours and said, hey, we must have forgot to tell you about our prices dropped in the last 6 months. We'd like to talk to you again. So we have to listen to them. So we're gonna take a look at that, a few other questions that we have, and we'll be back in April.
Not to muddy the waters, but in all the discussions of EZNet and all the rest of that stuff, Verizon Business was supposed to be a player in fiber. Are they a valid player in fiber or not?
To be honest, we haven't received a quote from Verizon, but we haven't asked them either. So that's another reason we want to make sure we do our due diligence to come back to you guys in April to make sure.
It would be nice to have 3 quotes, and I'm trying to test the waters on Verizon, find out how serious they are in that business, because
Now, is Verizon, in your experience, if you've talked to them, is Verizon going to bring in new servers, or are they going to piggyback off of AT&T or?
well, if it's fiber provisioning, that's what I was getting at, because if you recall way back when we were talking about our own NG901 stuff, one of the vendors that was going to be integrated was Verizon Business. I guess they were under a different name before, but Verizon Business now. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because they wanted some attention from us 2 years ago.
Right.
Just wondering if they would be serious about giving us a fiber bid on this job, just for, you know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because there's another company that they quoted us, we're doing the MPLS side that did fiber too, that we can get at least 3 quotes.
Okay.
So we have.
Thank you.
The next item is the chief administrator's vehicle repairs.
So my car's got 151,000 miles on it, and it's 8 years old. I put 25,000 in the budget to replace it, and it's been running so good, I just thought we could probably milk it along a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, I was driving home, and the transmission blew out on 55, so we got it towed back into town, tried to find somebody to work on it, got some estimates. Originally, it was like $4,000, and when I talked to Julie, the Blue Book price was $5,000. We got it down to less than $2,300 to repair the transmission. And then we decided that we'd go ahead and repair it. The dealerships were offering us $500 for the car, and it's got a Blue Book value of $5,000. So we thought if we repair it and sell it as is, we still can probably make more money and move it on and trade it. So we've got it repaired. It's got a 90-day warranty. We looked at state purchase contracts for vehicles, and anything below $20,000 is a Ford or a Chevy. Anything in the subcompact or compact range is only a Ford Focus for around 16. So we're going to take a look and see what's out there. It's also becoming the end of the year, so and with the bad winter, all the dealers are offering deals now. So we could either stay with within the guidelines of the state purchasing policy and look at the Ford or the Chevy, or we could just expand and go out and look at whatever we can find for around 16,000. We could talk about changing from a purchase to a vehicle
Lease?
No, not a lease, because a lease won't work for the miles I put on it. And even we were looking at like the environmental stuff, and that won't work because it's high speed freeway mileage. So, but more of an allowance, a vehicle allowance, maybe instead of buying a car, maybe we can look at that. So we're gonna keep looking around, and hopefully by April we'll have some solution to it. But we did go ahead and fix it. It seemed to be the right thing to do. It is running fine, so we do have 90 days warranty on it.
Thank you. The next item is new. It's Westcom shared expenses.
So during the construction of Westcom, there's been parts of the project where it's been in our best interest to share the cost with Westcom. There's things that have been purchased. We talked about them last summer, last fall. Cable that had been pulled, and the big discussion we had here was the UPS. Other smaller projects, probably in the range of under $30,000, where we either split the cost for Westcom, or we paid our portion of the bill. It might have been a $30,000 bill, and our portion was like $5,000. Worked that all out. I thought, and everybody else I talked to thought that before we left last fall, we approved all the other portions of that. I thought we also approved the UPS. We had a lot of discussion on it. We went back and looked at every minute, every conversation, and we could only see that it was tabled for further discussion. So we changed it and included that to make sure that the board has the ability to approve the UPS. So the total cost of the items is $95,552, of which the biggest portion of it is the UPS, sharing 50/50. The UPS is like $64,500 out there. The rest is all small cable trays and wiring and things that had to go into making our equipment work inside the building. So we're looking for approval for the shared cost items for Westcom of $95,552.12. The building is complete as far as construction goes from our viewpoint and our equipment, so we're not looking to come back in April or June and ask for more shared costs. This should be the bill. Westcom's looked at it, Westcom's agreed to it, so and our staff has looked at it and agreed to it, so that should be the final closing on the Westcom building for shared costs.
So the total UPS purchase cost is $154,000, or the full?
That's a their kit. It came as a as kind of a monolithic unit, an A and B side with a, I call it mixing box. We expensed, already paid for it, $154,000. In discussion with Dale and staff, they basically came up with the 62.5 as a fair number for the capacity that they would need for the data center and to run a 911 center. So we're actually paying more than half the cost of the array.
I think that's a similar arrangement to what we have here in this building with APS.
Yeah, we paid for part of it.
In the Block Electric, Starline, Row E, Park Carlson Construction Contract.
Yeah,
Right.
we have a whole row for our equipment, so the DR site, the M-Core, our switching, the CAD stuff, and that's the, all the electrical connections to those.
Right. What we opted to do, and not to get too deep in the weeds, but we've got, it looks like track lighting on steroids. It's an actual aluminum track. And then we have a whole bag of boxes. And if you want to put another set of outlets in, you just snap it into the track and plug it in. Because of the equipment that they wanted to put in, we added a track and provided boxes. One of them is 220, one of them is a dual plug to supply the dual ported servers and things like that. It's actually cheaper in the long run to do it this way as opposed to bringing an electrician in every time you want to make a change. This is actually a cheaper solution long term. So since we put in 5 rows, they're paying for 1.
And that's the low voltage cable.
No, that's the Starline.
That's the Starline.
The low voltage cable, we went out to manufacturers' reps, got in some cases less than wholesale prices. We got at least 3 bids for them. The cabling has to do with cable count on what they required for their active plus spares. And all we're asking for is recovery from what we expense to cover the stuff that 911's using.
I just have one comment. The UPS, I understand, not an issue. Just all the costs above the UPS, appreciate your explanation, but are these costs that we've assumed in the past for other centers? Are these costs we would expect to see with the new EastCon project? Are these unique to what you've done to further the infrastructure of WestCon? I guess we've never seen these before, so
Sure.
if you could just explain that.
Exactly. To give you an example, when we built out in 2006, 2007 to WestCon, 911 paid for the low voltage being pulled and brought in, and they paid AT&T to do that. We're not using AT&T this time around, so we're kind of doing it on our own. So in discussions with Dale and staff, they didn't have the time to purchase and pull cable because of so many other projects they got going on. The discussion was, like the AT&T thing, we'll bring in another vendor, have them pull it, we'll buy it, all we're asking for is reimbursement for the numbers of cables and the footage that's dedicated to the CAD, phone, radio, and some spares. So we did a cable count. We're putting in a lot more on top of that, as you can see the split. So in fairness, we're trying to recover what we did in 06, 07, and my understanding is, as Mike pointed out, this is no different than the pattern used at any other center. Correct, Dale? I mean, there's nothing unique other than possibly the size.
Yeah, correct. When Lincoln Way came online, I believe we paid around $60-some thousand for electrical upgrades.
We have paid
Yeah,
electrical before, yes.
Sheriff's Office,
That was for the generator.
Right.
we paid a lot for the Sheriff's Office electrical upgrade. I think we actually paid for HVAC improvements at the Sheriff's Office. We did a lot of stuff.
We shot them down on that.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Maybe
We shot them down on
they
that.
proposed it, but I know, like Mike was saying, there's shared expenses here. We are now, since we built the building, now we're declared the 3rd data center. If you want to pile that in, there's more justification. EastCom's got 2 UPSs on site now. That's the data center. So to answer your question, Kim, there's nothing out of the ordinary as far as the pattern of the expense reimbursement. And I think it's just fair to everybody.
I think the reason why you're seeing it more now is a lot of it was tied into the vendor, like when we did the Viper, that was included the Viper installation with AT&T, so it was one giant cost. Where now we're getting it cheaper, but you're seeing it broken up.
Okay.
And again, if it's kind of where to come over to West, kind of look at it, build a village, gotta be money.
Yes, I think that's part of what's going on here too, is that he's building a new center, so it's got the things that would be spread out over time are all happening all at once.
But anyway, we also was gonna build a new center and wanted to do the same project, we support that, it seems to work really well.
Okay, I'll accept the motion.
As presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Ms. Henson?
Yes.
Ms. Potsdale?
Yes.
Mr. Damron?
Aye.
Mr. Router?
Present.
Did I get one? Yeah, Mr. Damron.
Okay, thank you. Any additional comments for the finance and equipment committee?
Motion adjourned.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
You're off.
Yes.
Thank you. So,
As a side note, thank you for approving all that stuff. If you want to stop by and look around, please do so. We're coming down to the end of the construction phase, so a lot to see.
Is the grass out there yet? Any
What's
grass?
that?
Any grass yet?
Actually, the village won't give us permanent certificate of occupancy until they see grass growing. We're going to be acting under a temporary occupancy permit.
Astros, that's
There you go.
serious.
Hey, man.
Right?
Indoor, outdoor cars.
Yeah.
Let's paint the snow green.
That's how they did, they advertised at the Honda dealer off of 30. They painted it in snow.
Did they?
Yeah, their percentage 0 point whatever financing, they painted it in snow.
Jared's first name.
Well, that's okay, she got you.
There's no problem with it.
Well, no, I think we're gonna do black. But yeah, it'll watch, it'll be something.
No, we're supposed to just do.
Yeah.
That was just wrong. We just did already.
I know, yeah. Thanks for this. Sorry. Watch your steps there.
Stay greased.
Both are deputy directors, or directors, project manager, engineer,
And then discussion on what those
finance and HR.
But the thing is, what you asked for originally, it doesn't, that wouldn't make any difference. Right now, it doesn't make any difference. In a week, if we turn them off, then it makes a difference. So that's not a change. Anything that changes, we turn off for you. I hope you don't have to ask how to get it or anything like that.
Any explanation of why your bill is going to fund the 2 extra cents to all Samsung State except for the
I mean, the thing
originally we were talking about it was necessary for PSAP Center or ETSP Center.
I mean, it's not like this
Now
is
you can't give
surprise.
away the state except for the 5 minutes.
But I think they don't understand about the site.
Why don't we just give
But that's not what Louder said yesterday in the email distribution that I saw, is that it says it was a mistake with old language and there's some incorrection.
Sorry, you got change amended or anything?
Well, I also think that his
Right. Yeah. I just,
is right, which
and it doesn't make sense to give it to everybody in the state except for the 5 minutes. I mean, you're not helping the guy.
I don't want to speculate that.
And the whole problem was that the little guys that were dying.
Anytime?
No. They're going to need
Well, I understand that. But that doesn't mean you give everybody in the state except for the guy.
and that's where the
Now, if you're in, or ban them. It says, you got,